serves. The opposition's anthem, Viva El Fulham, is less well remembered. So away we go, West Ham United against Leeds United for a place at Wembley in an FA Cup semi-final. It's 20 years since West Ham have played in one, nearly double that since Leeds have achieved that particular feat. And for all of Southampton's admirable exploits last night, they are the team that perhaps one of these two would love to face in the last four. Leeds in their change strip of blue, facing Premier League opposition in the competition for the first time this season, and one of their fellow relegation battlers.
Yeah, I think when sides operate with different formations, different systems, it can make for really interesting viewing. West Ham playing with a back four, Leeds with that back 3/5, so I think the wide areas are key. Bowen and Traore for West Ham, and can the wing backs for Leeds get high up the pitch and influence the game?
Ampadu to take the throw, and the massed ranks gathered in there. And, quite the battle. Was hooked out by Diouf initially. And a terrific effort by Okafor, and Areola able to react swiftly.
It's brilliant work from Okafor. The way that he adjusts his body, he does absolutely the right thing. He tries to pass it with pace into the bottom corner, and the keeper surely can't see this until late. It's a brilliant fingertip save. Just how important could that prove to be come the end of the game? Okafor does absolutely everything right. Normally you score from that kind of situation. It's a brilliant stop.
Well, hoping to make first contact was Castellanos, and he didn't succeed. And that put West Ham potentially in some real trouble.
Yeah, strong start from the away side, long throw-ins, get the ball into the box, set pieces, deliver some quality. They've done that. They've had a really good chance. It's just Areola's come up with a stunning save.
A bit of a ragged start from West Ham. Here's Tanaka. Great wholehearted competitor with an eye for the spectacular on occasion as well. Good policing by James Justin.
Yeah, I talked about the Leeds wing-backs, Justin, one of them. If they get forward, we'll see Okafor. He'll drift in for the left-hand side. He will become that second striker. He'll join Mecha.
Areola is certainly being kept on his toes in the early stages here.
West Ham are trying to play out from the back, but look at the press from Leeds, led by Okafor. He's a whisker away from making contacts with that clearance.
Stuck in what is often a position of promise for him. For once gets it all wrong.
Yeah, it's not the start you want as a home team. It's about containing Leeds, getting through these first few minutes and not conceding. A strong start, positive start from the away team.
Intervention by Dizazi. It was never going to be long before we heard a strong chorus of marching on together. 9,000 Leeds United supporters here today.
I just noticed there with Leeds under no pressure at the back. Tanaka's just at times dropping into the back line. That again forces the two wing-backs for Leeds high up the pitch. You see Justin and Bogle can play beyond the halfway line because midfielders are dropping back and enabling them to play comfortably out from the back.
Series out Tanaka. Biol. Gazazi. It's Freddie Potts, who was thrust into the lineup late last week at Aston Villa. So Nuno had to readjust his plans at the 11th hour.
Yeah, Leeds to have a strong central midfield area, so it's important. Magassa and Potts really work well as a pair in the middle of the pitch to try and control the tempo of the game.
First opportunity for Bowen. Oh, and Lucas Perry shows his worth this time. Walker-Peters. Well, at either end, the goalkeepers have excelled. Kilman. Fernandez. Well, certainly a terrific contest beginning to brew here. Good work by Traore. Magassa. Duke's ball in. Justin's clearance. Diouf. All force the set piece.
A really strong start from Leeds, but now West Ham cleared their heads. This is a stunning save from Perry. It's all about his positioning, his anticipation, his athleticism, his reaction, because it's so close to the target. When that shot comes in, you think it's got to go past the goalkeeper. He has other ideas. He reacts so quickly and gets a big left hand down.
Castellanos, the man denied. Just hiding there is Diouf. Kilman got a touch. Stack. It's maybe being pulled back for an offside.
I was expecting a really tight, nervy opening to the game, but both sides have really gone at it, both goalkeepers excelling.
Remarkably, for these two venerable clubs, it is only the fourth time they've been drawn together in the FA Cup. Last time 4 years ago, when Jared Bowen got the clincher in a 2-0 win in round 3. They met in round 4 in 1930, when one of West Ham's greatest ever players, Vic Watson, scored all 4 goals in a 4-1 win. Leeds' one and only success 102 years ago. Okafor. Tanaka. Tanaka, Okafor. Vogels arriving with interest in there. It's beyond every blue shirt, however. Bowen looking for a way out, only finds Tanaka.
Brilliant work there from Okafor. Just showed the ball to Walker-Peters, then just whipped it away from him. Got a really dangerous crossing.
Well, he was spared the international travel during the break by Switzerland because he's just made his way back from injury, and the early signs are that that has benefited him greatly. Okafor, that's excellent again. Justin. Magas are able to do enough to stave off immediate trouble. And that's interesting from Ampadu. It's put Yakabihol in a bit of a tight spot. Rodon on hand to ultimately relieve the anxieties.
Beale did really well, because there's no way he can let that ball bounce. He's just got to try and get something on it, try and get it back up the pitch, which he did really well. But good link-up play earlier with Justin and Okafor down the left-hand side. They're mixing up their attacking game. At times it's Justin being the width, Okafor drifting in field. On that occasion, Okafor was the width, and Justin had run beyond him, and an excellent forward pass from Okafor.
Nice to see you too. Tanaka. Well, there is, I suppose, already the element of the discussion. What would you rather have if you could only have one? FA Cup or Premier League survival? The readers of the balance sheet will give you an emphatic answer, but you can bounce back from relegation. Cup glory lasts forever. And in saying that, I echo almost precisely Daniel Farke's words ahead of this. Bogle. Mateus Fernandes. Tanaka with the type of foot-in we've become very accustomed to seeing. Traore into his stride, and he's difficult to stop. Bowen one way. Jarrod Bowen! And Lucas Perry busy again.
Oh, Traore showing the danger that he poses, that pace and direct running strength. Brilliant layoff as well.
It's Bowen in there. Castellanos! And he's going to be penalised for dangerous play.
It's a game that Leeds are in control of, but there's been bursts from West Ham, and this is certainly a burst forward. Brilliant footwork, balance from Traore, but the layoff is all important as well. He gets his head up, he does the right thing. It's a good strike across goal from Bowen, plenty of pace on it, good positioning, good awareness, good anticipation from Perry again to get a strong arm on it. And it's important that Justin is back there in a good defensive position to make sure it's not a tap-in for another West Ham player, but when West Ham get on the ball and break forward on the counter-attack, Leeds look vulnerable.
Imposing himself in a manner sufficient to see Leeds United awarded the free kick.
He just steps across his man, doesn't he? He says he's playing the ball, but he's catching the man first. It is a foul. Just talking about Leeds' control and dominance in the game. They've had, the bulk of possession, nearly 65%, but the best opportunities, quality chances have gone the way of West Ham, and Perry's made two brilliant saves.
Dealt with by Dizazi. Traore.
That's a wasteful pass there from Traore, and he knows it because Bowen broke forward to his right-hand side. If he could have played that ball, kept the ball with Castellanos, the opportunity again to counter-attack was on.
Very positive start from Leeds in general. A lot of possession advantage, but West Ham on that meagre ration and forced Leeds United's goalkeeper into two very important saves.
There's good pressure on the ball from Castellanos again. Beyond maybe just being a little bit laboured in possession, giving the ball away fairly cheaply, and then forced to make a last-ditch challenge there.
Kilman. Hung in there by Juve. Castellanos looked offside, and the flag does come. Well, there is a man who's in the thick of it. The one and only time Leeds United won the FA Cup, Eddie Gray. Every Leeds United game these days, but a starter in 1972 when Leeds beat Arsenal by a single goal. Alan Clark's plunging header. And the indelible image other than that goal is of Mick Jones being aided up, having been horribly injured. Dislocated his elbow, if I remember correctly, to receive his medal after the others had already been up, and it was fabulous to see Mick at Ellen Road for their last game against Brentford, where he received a richly deserved Lifetime Achievement Award. And just for good measure, while we're talking about FA Cup winners, Sir Trevor Brooking, who scored the winner in 1980 with, well, certainly wasn't a trademark header, as Stuart Pearson fired the ball across goal. West Ham then in the second division, beating the holders. Forget that Trevor was in the team as well in 1975 against Fulham. Tanak to Mecha. Kilman clearly offending.
That's really good play from Mecha. Really great hold-up play, just screens the ball ever so well, gets his body in between ball and defender. And Kilman, in occasions like that, you're never going to get to the ball without fouling your man, so just stay goal side and force Mecha to play the ball back. Don't give away a cheap free kick.
Centre-backs up. Is it too far out for a Stack sledgehammer? We didn't quite get that. Anti-climax, perhaps, to Max Kilman's relief.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's taken a shot on. He is capable of it, but that is such a long way out. You're hitting that more with hope than anything else. You're not really convinced you're going to work the goalkeeper.
Before receiving it from Justin, and he looks really sharp. He's managed to find a cross as well, which just evaded Justin. And Areola has looked sharp as well. He's had to react once more with great urgency to prevent the corner.
You'll be right about Okafor. He is looking sharp up against Walker-Peters. That one-on-one battle at the moment. Okafor is coming out on top.
Bogle. Justin in a very central area. Okafor. Then gets a ball in. It's spinning a little awkwardly. Bogle able to master it. Crowded out.
It was noticeable there, Justin drifting infield. I think he's doing that to isolate Okafor out wide up against Walker-Peters. So rather than kind of go out wide himself and take up that space, he's drifting infield. That leaves Okafor isolated. Castellanos is a bit frustrated. It is a high boot, it's an obvious high boot, so it's a free kick for Castellanos at times. He's trying to put himself about, and time and again he's being penalised.
Well, they did endure their worst run of the season with Nuno at the helm, but lately things have looked pretty good, actually. Well, it went over the head of Ampadu. Tanaka will pick it up. Tanaka again. Juve appeared to slip. Bogle. Tanaka. Struijk. Okafor again. This time able to stop the cross, but not stave off the danger.
Yeah, the Walker-Peters one-on-one against a tricky wide man like this, you've got to get the defensive basics right. You've got to stay on your feet, you've got to watch the ball. Don't go diving in. Try and make it as difficult as you can for as long as you can against someone who's looking for you to dive in. He wants to then dance past you.
So second of the game for Leeds and for Anton Stack. Struijk a good target. Biol often makes first contact, but it's Areola today, and maybe he's made contact with more than just the ball. Struijk and Potts stricken.
Yeah, it's not the greatest set piece. It's there for the goalkeeper to deal with. Probably could have caught this Areola, really. Doesn't need to necessarily punch it, but just a nasty collision as Struijk and Potts get caught. Set pieces like that, you've got a giant goalkeeper, you've really got to whip that ball in, flatten pace. You don't just loft it up, because the goalkeeper's always going to be favourite, and it was fairly easy for Areola. You've got to give him more to deal with than that.
Put in by Walker-Peters, who's showing greater signs of rising to the challenge. Metcalf tangling with Kilman again. Okafor. Now Justin providing a little more width.
You can see what he's trying to do, just feed that ball into the corridor between goalkeeper and defensive line. Just puts too much on it. There's actually no one in a blue shirt to get on the end of it as well, but see Okafor this time drifting infield. Justin is then the width, so again just changing their positions, but that's a poor delivery.
Well, Daniel Farke did reach the last stage of this competition in his Norwich days, losing to Manchester United, whom Nuno's Wolves defeated at that stage 7 years ago. Manchester United reaching the semi-final, succumbing in extra time to Watford. Tanaka. James Justin, an FA Cup winner with Leicester. Has Okafor up with him again. Tanaka. Oh, and in it goes! Tanaka for Leeds United. Joy for the 9,000 who have travelled down. And reward for a really strong start here at the London Stadium.
Yeah, it comes off the back of a long period of control and dominance. They'd had the ball for maybe 10 minutes or so, had maybe 70% possession, hadn't really created anything up to this point, but Tanaka here, the footwork, the balance, the awareness of what's going on around him. He actually starts to move in his own half. But what does he do? Does he stand and watch? No, he goes and supports. So you've got 2 against 2 in the wide area. There's Tanaka breaking into the box. But the footwork here and the balance to take out, 2-3 defenders. There is a bit of good fortune with the deflection. That means Areola can't really do anything about it. It's up and over him before he can react. But Tanaka, that run he makes to get into the box, that desire to get into the dangerous area, then to manipulate the ball into a shooting position is outstanding. It's a goal that Leeds deserve.
Well, West Ham supporters may disagree. There's a saying, you make your own luck, and Tanaka arguably did there.
And of course you have to go back to those 2 brilliant saves that Lucas Perry has made as well. It could have been a different story, different storyline. He kept them in at Leeds at 0-0, now they have the lead.
Leeds United fans had actually turned their backs on the game. That in tribute to Christopher Loftus and Kevin Spate, the Leeds United supporters killed in Istanbul 26 years ago to the day. The reason they turned their backs on the game is their reaction in the second leg at Elland Road to the Galatasaray team back in that fateful UEFA Cup semi-final in 2000. Tanaka is deemed guilty of a foul.
I'm not sure this was. It looked a strong challenge. He did clearly get the ball before the man. I think he's hard done by there. And just going back to his goal, brilliant footwork, bit of good luck, but no surprise the goal came from Leeds' left-hand side. The 2 most dangerous players on that side of the pitch for Leeds, in Okafor and Justin, not too much on the right-hand side for them, so no surprise the build-up came from this left-hand side.
Well, it's not the first time that Tanaka has produced a very valuable goal for Leeds United. When he does score, well, they're either spectacular or hugely important, or both.
And he's a hugely versatile player as well. He can play as a genuine holding midfielder, dictate the play. You know, technically he's a very good player, good passer of the ball, but as we've seen time and again, he can get forward, he can score goals, so whatever you ask him to do, he's more than capable of it.
Well, it was all looking likely to come via that route for Leeds. And Nuno, in that memorable season, Forest also an FA Cup semi-finalist. Prospect is looking some distance away at the minute.
There's a period of possession there for West Ham, but they kind of force the forward ball as well. They feel obliged to play it up towards Castellanos. It's picked off by a big Leeds centre-half, and they get back on the ball again. So I think West Ham, even though they're going to go behind, need to be a little bit more patient in possession.
Well, Leeds have mustered more in terms of attempts on goal, but the fact that they are in a position to lead is how well Lucas Perry dealt with the 2 on target from West Ham.
Yeah, Leeds have had the control, they've had the ball, but the 2 best chances in the game have gone the way of West Ham. That's why, again, goalkeepers are so important. Goal scorers take all the glory. It's a team effort that gets you through. Nil-nil. West Ham were fairly passive. They were kind of sitting fairly deep, allowing Leeds to dominate the ball. They surely now have to be a bit more aggressive, especially when Leeds have the ball. Try and step onto them a bit more, disrupt them more.
Searching for Bowen. Do well to make something of it.
As well again to keep that ball in. Once again, it's a fairly aimless, longer forward ball. It's not easy to build up a sustained kind of period of attacking pressure here if you keep giving the ball away relatively cheaply.
That's a real searcher. That was a tantalising ball that could quite easily have led to something significant for West Ham. It's Diouf, Castellanos. Oh, and Okafor will be able to seize on this. He's got support either way. And Stack ultimately denied. The West Ham were living dangerously there.
Well, I think Areola could have just about kept West Ham in the competition with this save. It's Potts who actually plays it back and gives it to Okafor. Stack does everything right. He goes back across the goalkeeper, but I said it with Perry down the other end. The goalkeeper's positioning, his ability to be ready to make a save and then to get a hand on a fairly fiercely struck shot is quite brilliant. I think they're looking at maybe the challenge to see whether Stack was taken out. Is a possible penalty?
Well, the word is that the check is complete and there is no case for a penalty. Or certainly no obvious error in not awarding one.
As we saw from Leeds there, they have the ability to dominate possession, break forward and score. They can play swiftly on the counter-attack as they do here. I think he's got the shot away, hasn't he? And it's Kilman sliding in. Well, he does take him out, so it's a risky challenge to make. It's a challenge you have to make when Stack is looking to shoot. Painful one for him as well. Let's hope he's okay.
Well, it's been a good period for him at Leeds personally. It's led to his recall to the German national side as well, despite the head coach Julian Nagelsmann publicly discussing his limitations not that long ago, as he perceives them.
I think he's been an excellent signing for Leeds. Again, talked about Tanaka's versatility. He can play in a variety of positions as well, and it's those attacking midfielders that are causing problems to West Ham with a goal. Tanaka breaking from midfield, Stack on that occasion being part of the counter-attack with Ampadu sitting deep. Those 2 players can break forward, and it's a brilliant save from Areola. Again, look at his positioning, his readiness to make the save, then that big right hand coming out. Both goalkeepers have done so well. Of course, the problem for Stack, he's just concentrating on taking the shot, on trying to score. He can't get out of the way of Kilman. He's just focused on getting that second goal for Leeds, so again, he can't avoid the challenge that comes in, so that's why he gets injured.
what you call a crowd seat.
But that's a better set-piece delivery. It just takes the goalkeeper, Areola, out of the equation. It's flat and pacey and has to be defended.
There is sufficient concern to get Brendan Aronson prepared. Oh, and Metcher sniffing. Two Leeds players going for the ball initially.
Yeah, it's not an easy chance, is it? I think he actually sees it quite late. Comes over the head of Magassa. He's got to react quickly and try and keep that down, and he can't quite do it under pressure from Walker-Peters as well.
So Brendan Aronson is going to come on, that is definite, in place of Anton Stack. Oh, well, he's... Yeah, well, maybe not so definite.
I'm sure they'll give him 5 minutes. You can't afford to risk, again, not just this cup tie, but the big Premier League games ahead as well.
Looked offside, Walker-Peters. Magassa. Kilman in there. Traore.
Well, he's on the stretch, Traore, but I can feel he really should be getting a side foot on this and knocking it back across the 6-yard box. As the ball was whipped his way, I think there is an opportunity just to side foot that ball back, and just a poor connection. Close call, wasn't it? Walker-Peters did look just about onside, but again, the quality of the ball in, not quite good enough, and that's been the major problem. Doing a couple of good saves from Perry, but all in all, West Ham in these advanced positions haven't shown that attacking quality you need in the final third.
Well, our information was certainly absolutely spot on. Stack just with a little spell there to make up the numbers, if you like. But his discomfort ruling him out of the rest of this FA Cup tie, which has been a really good one so far.
I think you've got to save him from himself. Of course, he'll want to stay on, stay out there, but if you've got an injury like that, clearly struggling, you've got to make the change. It's a positive change. Aronson, such a lively customer moving forward.
And a more naturally attacking player. Anton Stack is a kind of midfielder of all shapes and sizes, if you like, whereas Aronson is very much a player who wants to be getting involved at the top end of the pitch.
Yeah, I think maybe away from home makes sense to play Stack just to kind of stiffen up that central midfield area, but now they've got the lead, they've been on the front foot for most of the half. It makes sense to maybe play that number 10 attacking player in behind Okafor and Metcher.
Freddie Potts. Jared Bowen. Walker-Peters and Mateus Fernandes with an effort that produced the most straightforward save of the day so far for Lucas Perry. Now, West Ham supporters were howling in anger at the challenge by Metcher here.
It's not the worst challenge you've ever seen. It is a foul because Disasi gets there first, plays the ball, and he's certainly not taken out. It's not the most dangerous tackle you've ever seen, but the way he goes down, they had the ball, they were breaking forward, West Ham, so you're always going to let the game go. So the referee's done the right thing, gone back and felt that was justified a yellow card, which is right. It's nothing worse than that. It's just sliding in, it's trying to get to the ball. It's nothing worse than a yellow.
There could be a problem for one or two today if they do pick up a booking, as one would rule, for example, Outanaka out of a potential semi-final. Magassa, Walker-Peters and Castellanos amongst the West Ham starters are also in that position, with the FA Cup having different disciplinary system to the other competitions. The red cards count in all competitions, of course. They'll fly across them.
Yeah, but that's better for West Ham. What I was talking about, being proactive off the ball, stepping onto Leeds, disrupting them. See what the West Ham fans think of that as well. They've got to be more aggressive.
Well, while they have certainly appreciated masters of the craft at West Ham down the years, graft is the minimum requirement. Leeds have given them much to ponder. Already beaten them in the Premier League this season. Have a pretty good record here, actually. Well, very good record. 4 defeats in 22 at West Ham. That's pretty happy travelling. Tanaka.
It's a surprise going, giving the ball away cheaply, halfway inside his own half. Can't afford to do that. Bogle was wasteful.
Maybe a little hurried.
Yeah, Leeds have done this the majority of the half. Steps onto West Ham, made it difficult for them to play out from the back. Some mistakes are made. That's what he's trying to do. I think he's trying to play Metra in there, but just overcooks it.
Justin rising well. I'm not 100% sure about Peter Banks's first touch, the fourth official there. Kilman. Magassa. Juve. Castellanos. Very tidy turn.
He does well to manufacture any kind of chance out of this. Good first touch. Beale's in close attendance. So it's difficult on the swivel, on the half volley, to keep that down under the crossbar. Did reasonably well. I think this first half, if you look at it as a whole, I think clearly it's been Leeds' half in terms of the amount of possession, the dominance they've had. There's that Peter Banks' poor first touch we were talking about. But for West Ham, okay, they've not a lot of the ball, but they've created a couple of really good opportunities. So at half-time, if it is just 1-0 to Leeds, I think Nuno's got to say, you know, keep going. If you have a bit more of the ball, create a few more chances, there is an opportunity to get back into the game.
If you can say one thing about Peter Banks, he is a master with the board. So he's a top pro, Peter.
Surely from a West Ham point of view, they need to see more from Bowen, see more from Fernandes going forward.
Cheers, that's some very good work again.
Yeah, no one's taking a gamble there, getting into the 6-yard box, because Juve, every time he gets the ball in a wide area, all he does is gets the ball out of his feet and he delivers. So as a striker, attacking midfielder, make your move, because the cross is going to come in.
Well, the players in reserve include some notable names. Tomasz Souček and Pablo in the spotlight there. actually remember somewhat fondly Pablo's dad banging them in his Porto days. He's the top scorer in Portugal one season, but then he fell out with the coach and was shipped off to Strasbourg, and that was the end of that.
We've all done that, it's just not been to Strasbourg.
Worst places to be sent to as a punishment, I have to say. Here's Justin threatening again. So much that has been very, very good for Leeds coming down that left flank.
I think Disasi is right to complain. He's saying to Walker-Peters, how on earth is James Justin running into that amount of space in behind you? You surely got to track that run, help me out. The centre-half had to get across and make the block, and he's just saying to his full-back, you've got to do more defensively than that.
Tanaka. Fall to Mateus Fernandes. He's got the opportunity to try and make things happen, and he's found Bowen there with a cute through pass. Disasi. Justin keeping the ball in play, and Walker-Peters hung in there by Magassa. Bowen's looking! The flag would have curtailed any celebrations had the ball ended up in that Leeds United net.
Yeah, a good spell of pressure just before the break from West Ham. They don't want half-time now. Bowen clearly in an offside position in between Biol and Perry, so it wouldn't have counted, but better from West Ham, zipping that ball around, moving Leeds around and getting the ball into the box, causing a few problems.
Well, in becoming a West Ham favourite, he achieved something that his dad would have wanted to, but didn't quite manage it. Harry Redknapp had Jarrod Bowen's father Sam here, prolific striker with Merthyr Tydfil in particular here on trial. Well, Upton Park, I suppose, rather than here. For that young man, he's got the challenge of living with a famous West Ham name, Freddie Potts. Well, an excellent first half from Leeds, although Lucas Perry, their goalkeeper, has had to distinguish himself. So, Tomasz Souček has been called upon at the start of this second half, as has Pablo, as West Ham look for an answer to the questions Leeds United have posed them. Magassa and Freddie Potts withdrawn. So Leeds get us underway in the second half at the London Stadium, leading by a goal to nil, and on the cusp of an FA Cup semi-final for the first time in nigh on 4 decades. It's actually 23 years since they last played at this stage of the competition. Brief hesitation by Kilman, but he deals with it. Potts and Magassa off, Souček and Pablo on. Nuno looking for a remedy.
Yeah, Nuno had to do something really. It makes sense to make the changes. Fernandes, I presume, will play a little bit deeper in central midfield alongside Souček, and Pablo will play and further forward, so it should give West Ham more attacking threats where they can get on the ball and create opportunities for their attacking players.
Well, the game's going to stick in the pattern that's become familiar as it is at the moment. Ampadu's long throw. Struijk trying to turn, but Bowen has found a useful pass there. Oh, well, you know what Ampadu is going to get for that. Obvious booking, and obviously no more, despite the howls from the West Ham supporters.
And that's as cynical as it gets. It's a brilliant pass from Bowen. Normally just clear your lines and lump it into the stands, but he sees Traore, he knows the counter-attack is on with the pace that this man has, and you see the West Ham players, they aren't happy because they know exactly what Ampadu has done. Ampadu knows what he's done here. It's always going to be a yellow that's covering defenders. It's just incredibly cynical. That pass from Bowen is outstanding. The counter-attack is on. He's the last player you want, running at you. James Justin wants running at him, so Ampadu just takes him out. It's incredibly cynical. I think he's just explaining why he did it, but I'm sure West Ham player would do a similar thing if the situation was reversed.
I don't know if someone's just pointed that out to Tomáš Souček. That was the type of smile on his face. There was, or is, check for serious foul play on the challenge, which was the only way he potentially could have received any more than a yellow there, but it certainly seemed, and indeed it has now been cleared, that a yellow card would be sufficient.
Ampadu's just looking really to clip the heels, just to take Traore out. He's not looking to really injure him. If he goes in kind of higher than that, catching him around the knee, then you do have a major problem. It could be a red card, but a yellow is right.
They've lost Stack. There's certainly a little bit of concern about another of their pillars, really, in Joe Rodon.
He goes down, he's holding his foot, holding his ankle. Well, in a lot of pain. It's an important player for them. They need him up on his feet. And the ball is flung into the box. Like so many big players in and around. You can get nudged, a heavy landing, a twist. You have a real problem.
Well, this is majorly significant, potentially, and you'll have to take a wee bit of time out, as the rules and regulations dictate. But I'm sure everyone associated with Leeds United will hope that's all it is. And the inevitable stealing of a few yards. But Leeds having to defend this a little short-handed. Diouf. Fernandes. Traore. Find that half yard and a testing delivery, which Struijk repels, and here is Ampadu.
It's a magnificent defensive header under real pressure.
Run by Okafor, eventually curtailed. Ampadu, Aronson, the substitute. Have a look at the referee. This is Bogle. Well, Joe Rodon is back. And Tomáš Souček certainly ready to test just how up and running he is, but it's not perhaps a moment for risk, and Sebastian Bornau is being ready to take Rodon's place.
It must be frustrating for Daniel Farke, taking off Stack with an injury, presumably having to take off Rodon. course, for the complexion of this tie, you want to get through this tie, you need your best players out there.
Well, this is long gone, nothing wrong with that from Castellanos. Well, he believes that he was not offside, but he is mistaken, I think.
Yeah, he's offside, absolutely he is. And looking to escape a yellow card because the whistle's gone, the flag's up, and he's kicked the ball away.
You want your best players out there to win an FA Cup tie, but you also want your best players out there in the games to come. So it is a concern that they've lost both Stack and Rodon. Sebastian Bornau steps into the action. A player who in his time has broken into the Belgian national team, which is no small achievement. Picked up by Metcher and Bogle. Foul by Bogle, and was. Grips with Adama Traore, cutting off the route forward for West Ham as well. And this is Kilman. Tanaka, the first Leeds United player to score more than once in the FA Cup this season. Their previous 7 goals had come from separate sources. Fernandez had just got away from him.
Yeah, promising position, heavy touch.
Aronson looking to get Leeds into a promising position, and when Okafor's around, that's always a possibility. And Perdue. Just throw a blanket over them, but it was an effective bit of smothering from Leeds United in the end.
I think the counter-attack could be the way that Leeds kill this tie off, because West Ham, of course, changing personnel, a bit more aggressive, playing higher up the pitch, committing more bodies forward. They are now susceptible, and the ball is lost to a swift counter-attack, and Leeds have the players to hurt them.
Well, they are going about their business, Leeds, with real intensity, aren't they? Bowen. Clear open space for Walker-Peters to run into.
Plenty of changes since half-time from Nuno. He's actually switched Traore and Bowen as well. They were playing on opposite flanks in the first half. They've been switched round. Bowen, I think he's happier down that right-hand side.
And West Ham yet to really get into it in this second half. Leeds with the possessional advantage. This is Mateus Fernandez. Traore. He's found the opportunity to get a cross in. He's beyond Pablo.
It's just brave from both players. You've got an attacker and a defender both going for a dangerous cross. They've got no choice but to try and attack it. Just need to collide with each other. Biol and Pablo, really painful for both.
Biol looking a little worse off.
It might not be his last headed clearance of the game either. Expected West Ham can keep the tempo and keep knocking the ball into the box. They've got some big players in there, an extra striker as well. Those Leeds centre halves are going to have to work hard aerially.
Every precaution must be taken. The protocols observed with Biol.
Yeah, we get an obvious clash of heads like that. You've got to be ultra cautious.
Another concern. Afternoon that's already been full of them on the injury front. It's 10 against 10 at present, with Biol and Pablo both waiting in the wings. Kilman. Traore's run out of pitch.
That's good defending from Bogle. How tight he is to Traore. Don't allow a powerful, strong runner to turn and then drive at you, run past you. Stop him doing that.
Well. Calvert-Lewin getting it's not the most vigorous of warm-ups, but he is headed off down the touchline.
I'm not sure that can be considered a warm-up. He was just standing there,
looking for a better view, as most people are in this stadium, let's face it. Kind of error Mateus Fernandes doesn't often make. He certainly can't afford to make it. Pablo couldn't take that in. Okafor is carrying a real threat every time he gets it.
It's really good defending from Dizazi. This is how to defend without playing the ball. You just force a dangerous attacking player into a wide area, close down the angle, close down the space, then be strong, step across your man. You don't have to make the challenge. If you do, you can give a penalty away. His body positioning is excellent, the centre half, and he just levers Okafor away.
Pablo. It's asked a fair bit of bone, but not too much. And Castellanos whistles the shot comfortably wide in the end.
He should be doing better though from that position, but when the forward ball is played towards Bowen, I'm just looking at Lucas Perry and thinking, why is he not coming to maybe deal with this? It's a really good play initially from Castellanos just to get the team moving forward, but I'm just wondering whether Leeds goalkeeper is there. Surely he could come and collected that, he doesn't. And then Bowen picks out Castellanos, who again has made up ground. He's got into the box, it's where he should be. He just doesn't wrap his instep around. He's got to whip it with a pass more than a firm strike from there, keep it on target, and he doesn't.
It's been a good cup tie as we pass the hour mark, and Leeds certainly mustering the more notable attempts. Lucas Perry with those 2 critical saves in the first half. West Ham yet to get an attempt on target since. Souček's touch. Here is Jared Bowen. Bowen to Walker-Peters or Strouk, stepping into good effect. Okafor. Diouf. Traoré. That could be very dangerous! Oh, massive escape! Massive escape! Castellanos against the frame of the goal.
Well, he looks to the heavens and he's so unfortunate, sees it so late, does so well to get good contact on it. So unfortunate not to make it 1-1. Coming in at the far post, the ball is drifting in there, it's hard to read, and he does so well to get firm contact on it.
That was another really threatening delivery. This is West Ham's best spell. Bowen. Strouk in the way. Dizazi.
West Ham have to keep the tempo, keep the pressure up. Ball is whipped in, it's past so many players, arrives at Castellanos late. It's a bouncing ball, he does well to keep it on target.
Up goes Traoré, and up goes Lucas Perry, crucially for Leeds. Again, Walker-Peters. Craig Pawson giving that short shrift from Castellanos. This is Walker-Peters. Well, it's a bit of an onslaught at the moment.
I mentioned it a few minutes ago, the amount of aerial challenges the Leeds defenders are going to have to face. This is Castellanos at the far post, so unlucky, sees it late, bouncing ball, and he just flings himself, and 6 inches to the right there, and it's 1-1. It's just maybe glances off his head slightly, but it's so hard to read where the ball's going to be, let alone score from that position.
Now it's Okafor.
West Ham really need the crowd behind them. They need to keep the tempo up. Of course, another injury for Daniel Farke to possibly contend with, but it'll just slow the momentum down for West Ham. So I'm sure Farke and the technical area are saying just take your time with Okafor, just really assess the injury and maybe just kind of slow down this West Ham momentum.
Right into that goal, I think, came off Beal as Castellanos went for it.
Crosses that West Ham putting in open play, set plays, really testing this Leeds rear guard.
And again, a rear guard that is lower on numbers. This is Bowen. Justin doing well. Jared Bowen. And it goes, or Souček, such a menace arriving.
That's such an important touch by Beal. If he misses that, I think Souček is in.
Bowen. Before. Bouncing ball, dug out by Fernandez, but blocked by Justin. Well, Fernandez is certainly playing to the whistle. On the ground not once, but twice. Pullman's in control.
Yeah, Leeds need some respite here, they need some possession, they need to get up the pitch, they're just being overrun.
Pablo. Little off-the-ball skirmish there, involving Biol and Castellanos. Peters furiously darting in behind, but West Ham taking a different route. Souček. Dizazi. Biol's header, Traore meets it. And Aronson there to help out. Vogel. Not quite able to keep it from creeping for a corner. Coleman makes the trip. Fernandez with the delivery. Jared Bowen, plenty of power. Metcher in the way. Walker-Peters. Bowen. It's Ethan Ampadu cajoling his colleagues.
Yeah, Leeds just can't get out of their defensive third. They're just putting their bodies on the line time and time again. All their players have to become defenders. If you can't get out of that defensive third, you just have to defend as well as you possibly can and keep the game at 1-0.
Calvert-Lewin, Piru, Nonto on. It's the end of the day for Okafor and Metcher and their goal scorer, Tamaka. Nonto actually had to change his boots before he was allowed to step forward. And yeah, Gruev is also going to come on here. Studs were required rather than the blades, so Willy Nonto had to change his footwear. Gruev, Nonto and Calvert-Lewin on. Calvert-Lewin. Helped on neatly by Nonto. Foul by Dizazi.
It might seem strange to bring on attacking players when you're defensively under the cosh, but Daniel Farke is thinking bring on fresh attackers, get the ball up to them, they could kill this game off. It doesn't matter what West Ham do if we go 2-0 up.
West Ham are ahead in one aspect, and substantially so, attempts on goal. But this welcome respite for Leeds, and perhaps even more than that. Calvert-Lewin posing them a different challenge. And Biol still in the mix there. Oh, and Strauch. That would have been one to remember, and it nestled in the net.
It certainly wasn't the plan. It was a terrible free kick from Gruev. It's in behind all his teammates, but Strout just back pedals, and then on the half volley he looks to swivel and strike it goalwards. It was some attempt, but clearly not the plan.
Yeah, it's not generally the way you work it to try and make it as difficult as possible to manufacture a shot on goal. Nonto, Aronson! Well, it's a challenge Kilman had to get absolutely right. And Leeds United feel he didn't.
Yeah, the substitutions have really livened Leeds up. Kilman goes in, goes over the ball, misses the ball. He does catch Aronson. It looks like a penalty to me.
Well, they're active in the video booth where Stuart Atwell is in charge. And, well, on that evidence, there is surely only one outcome.
I think he just plays the ball, he keeps his foot on the ground, he goes through the ball, he goes over the top of the ball and catches Aronson. It looks pretty obvious.
Also, Konstantin Hatzidakis there. So it's... well, it's pretty cast iron, isn't it?
Excuse the pun, but this would be a hammer blow for West Ham because they've been dominating the game. They've had chances. Just one defensive error. To me, it looks pretty obvious. I'd be amazed if a penalty's not given for this. It's just complete misjudgment by Kilman. Rather than playing the ball, he goes over the top of it and plays the man. And West Ham, for all their pressure, they pushed in this second half, but to go 2-0 down, as you see, it's an awfully long way back for them. Pretty impossible for them to recover, but we'll see what happens here.
It's a critical moment, and there has to be certainty. Now Craig Pawson is satisfied.
After review, West Ham United #3 commits a careless foul challenge that denies a Douglas goal opportunity. The final decision is a yellow card and a penalty kick to Leeds United.
Total clarity and total calamity for West Ham.
How many times do you see this when a team are on the front foot, they're pushing and pushing, they look the most likely team to get a goal, then it goes down the other end, and one mistake, one defensive error, the tie could be over. I do think those substitutions, the timing of it from Daniel Farker, just freshened the team up, the Leeds team up. They got up the pitch, they got the ball into a dangerous area. Kilman's just a misjudgment. He's over the top of the ball and could pay a very heavy price.
He's missed one in match play, he's missed one in a shootout this season. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But he has a very good record from the spot. Scores! And Leeds closing in on a first FA Cup semi-final appearance in 39 years. And just at a point where West Ham were looking at their most likely to change that, Max Kilman's lapse of judgment has perhaps turned the tide decisively in Leeds' favour.
Yeah, in situations like this, when you're under the cosh, yes, you're a goal up, but you're under the cosh, you have an opportunity to kill the tie off. You need an experienced player with composure to make it 2-0. This is as emphatic a penalty as you are going to see from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You know, he makes his mind up. It's beautifully struck. Keeper goes the right way. He doesn't save this. It's into the side netting. Brilliant penalty. But West Ham, for all their pressure, now have a mountain to climb.
Zazie. Well, if West Ham are to turn this around, we'll talk about it for many a long year. Good work from Adama Traore. That Bogle where he needed to be. And what he needs to do is take that out of his mind. Be hard.
It's hard to recover as an individual, as a team, when you're hit with a blow like that. That's exactly the set piece that you don't want. You've just gone 2 goals down, put a bit of quality into the box, put Leeds under pressure. It's wildly overhit, it's a waste.
Well, there's a sense of resignation. But quite the opposite. At that end of the ground, the generous allocation, the generous ticket prices. I'm sure Eddie Gray didn't pay for a ticket, whether it's 15 quid or not, nor should he. But as delighted as anybody. Resigned faces inside, and already a considerable number outside. Having given up the ghost. This is Calvert-Lewin. Well, maybe another opportunity. Can Bogle retrieve? Gnonto's flick! Oh. Well, West Ham still just about alive.
Well, that would have been tie over, game over. Great improvisation from Gnonto. He thinks he scored. He's wheeling away to celebrate just past the post. Again, the substitutes have really livened Leeds up, and that's not an easy chance by any means. He's actually moving away from the target, yet nearly scores. A third goal, and it would have been absolutely over.
Well, they've done exactly what Daniel Farke sent them on to do. And it's brave, isn't it?
Well, as I said, they were under the cosh. You think he's normally put on kind of defensive reinforcements to keep West Ham out. He sent on attacking players to take the game back to them to get that all-important second goal, and it's worked.
Well, 39 years since they reached the semi-final. It wasn't a happy experience, although they were a second division side led by legend Billy Bremner. Went out to Coventry City at Hillsborough in extra time. Coventry going on to win the FA Cup. But Keith Edwards, that great Yorkshire goal scorer, scored a textbook header that we were all trying to replicate in the playground the next day. Some of us managed it. Traore. Kilman. Mateus Fernandes. Bowen. Strauk and Gnonto. Galloping forward. And formidable obstacle in the way in the shape of Dizazi.
Slightly selfish then on, so he just makes his mind up from probably the halfway line. When he picks the ball up, I'm going to run with it and I'm going to shoot. It doesn't matter where my teammates are, I'm going to take the shots on, because I feel I should have scored with that flick, so I'm going to try every occasion I get a shooting opportunity, I'm going to take it regardless.
Walker-Peters. Straight to ball now. Well, he got a hold of it. There was no chance Areola could, but he's turned it to safety.
There's plenty of power, it's just right at the goalkeeper rather than down the side of him. It's amazing what goals do to teams, to games. That second goal, the Calvert-Lewin penalty, Leeds suddenly look full of belief again. They're under the cosh at 1-0 down. Now they look like the team that are going to score again.
And what it does to centre-backs who suddenly feel that marauding forward is a sensible thing to do.
Teammates are giving a bit of a ribbing there to clear the centre halves at Leeds. Don't do too many kind of shooting practices.
Areola through the crowd. Bogle.
Feel for Areola. West Ham goalkeeper, he's done absolutely nothing wrong. He's made some brilliant saves, could do nothing with the 2 goals that have gone in. It's been hard for him and the team, of course.
There's Calvert-Lewin. Well, he's got Leeds exactly where they want to be there.
So what he's done well since he's come on, he's just run the channels really well. The timing of his runs, the position he's getting into, is always available for the forward pass. He secures the ball. He's been excellent since he's come on. The penalty, of course, is what we're going to talk about, but the way that he's led the line since he's come on has been outstanding.
Well, he has proved to be a fabulous signing for Daniel Farke, and for him personally it's been quite the move, getting back on the England scene. And he'll have a run on this probably if the opportunity comes. But Areola able to grab it. And they have to make the most of any opportunity they can find. Gruev gets the foul.
I think the question mark over Calvert-Lewin was his fitness, but he's looked as fit and as sharp as I've ever seen him.
I suppose if this doesn't go their way today and they beat Leeds on the final day and secure Premier League safety, then they won't rue it too much. But West Ham, a club that cherishes their cup memories.
You have to try and look for silver linings, don't you? If your cup runners are coming to an end here, can you stay in the Premier League? Most of those West Ham fans leaving this game disappointed. Still got a lot of a roller coaster of emotions to go through in trying to stay in the Premier League now.
Ampadu to hurl it in there. Souček rising well as he tends to. Gnonto. Pablo. Broken very kindly to Willie Gnonto. Oh, Calvert-Lewin. Well, he didn't take the selfish route on that occasion. Ampadu's going to hit it. Not prolific by any stretch of the imagination, and he was encouraged by his supporters to have a pop.
There's a clumsy, frustrated challenge there from Fernandez. Penalty, the Calvert-Lewin penalty. It's just sucked all the life out of the West Ham players, the fans. They know their fate really now, and Leeds looking ominous, look like they could get a third and really kill the tie off.
Well, it's looking increasingly like Nuno won't be experiencing second year in the semi-finals in a row. Disappointed Danny Dyer. So it's the left-footed Gruev. I'll start with a little hopeful glance at the referee there.
Yeah, the ball was overhit. He was never going to get to it. Just need to collide with the West Ham defender, and no penalty.
I suppose it's the one question I haven't asked you today, so I might as well do it. Well, there is an opportunity to do so. Well, apologies for the loss of pictures from the London Stadium for a short spell. Very pleased to be back with you. Traore. Juve's cross. Certainly needed urgent defending, and Biol, who's been in some scrapes today, able to do just that.
It's a magnificent ball in. Just, again, outstanding defending from Biol. His desire to get to the ball was quite brilliant.
Here's Bogle. And I think a touch of irony. I think Nonto was complaining at him for going for the shot.
Covered a lot of ground there, Bogle, to get into a shooting position. Just needed more composure, need to drill it. Mariola's right, keep it on target, then you really can work the goalkeeper.
It's easy to view these games in hindsight, of course. They have a Premier League game, West Ham, on Friday. And they have left out of their squad today Wan-Bissaka, Mavropanos, Callum Wilson. So you do wonder if there could have been a significant difference made. No use wondering what might have been. Card for Jayden Bogle. Well, it ain't over till it's over, and that's some way away. Minimum of 11 minutes added time.
This is why that second Leeds goal is so frustrating for West Ham. You know, 11 minutes to play. If you're only 1-0 down, you've got a real chance, but 2-0 down, still asking a lot.
Matheus Fernandes who takes it. The groan summed it up. Back in there. Oh! Well, the cross from Juve, the header from Pablo, and about as close as West Ham have come.
As you'd expect, wonderful ball in from Juve. It's a difficult chance. He's beyond the near post. Yes, there's pace on the ball. He's just trying to redirect it. So close to getting it right into that top corner, but from that position with the pace that's on the ball, the contact has to be perfect.
Since Castellanos hit the post, and that wasn't far away from the target either. Confirmation of Bogle's yellow for the foul that led to that set-piece situation. This is Juve again. To Calvert-Lewin. Socek. Dizazi. Sorry, with a deep cross, and Justin seemed to misjudge it. Bowen will whip it! They've hit
Well, you have to credit Fernandes for following this ball in, because it lands at the feet of Jarrod Bowen. Again, when he strikes it, you're probably thinking, well, he's probably scored, so I won't be ready for any rebounds. But Fernandes was. When that ball comes back off the post, his touch is outstanding. He's in a position of readiness. He's there to get on the ball and tuck it home. It's because he's ready as that shot comes in that it might come back on the goalkeeper, off the frame of the goal. A huge opportunity now, with time left as well, for West Ham to maybe turn this around.
Well, there are a few more empty spaces around the stadium, and there certainly were at the start of the second half. Will there be a good number regretting their decision to leave? Aren't we about to witness a thrilling FA Cup comeback? Aronson. Who's come back up the stairs?
Yeah, but actually when Traore knocks kind of the cross in, you're not expecting anything to happen for West Ham to score from that, but Bowen and Fernandes make it happen. For Leeds now, it's about game management. It's not about a third goal, it's about running down the clock.
Justin. Nonto. A way out, but there's Gruev and Perdue. Perdue demonstratively suggesting he was fouled. Well, still plenty of time. Traore teasing it in.
He's played that ball on a number of occasions, just drop at the shoulder, right foot. You have to get it absolutely spot on. You kind of overcook it, get the angle of the ball in wrong. It's just going to go through to the goalkeeper and be a comfortable collect.
Well, sometimes hope is the worst thing. And Perdue. Bouncing. But Dizazi masters it, and Souček moves it on, and Diouf strides forward. Traore. That's another great ball in! Dizazi's delight! West Ham have found a way back when many had written them off, and a two-goal lead for Leeds United has disappeared.
This is absolutely incredible. It just didn't look like happening when we saw the 11 minutes added on. There's a few kind of groans in terms of the Leeds fans, Leeds players. West Ham thought, well, maybe there's a chance, but they didn't look like having the quality to really score one, let alone two. And it's Traore again. I've talked about that ball in on the left-hand side, on your right foot. You've got to get the angle right. The weight of the ball in absolutely perfectly. Then you need someone on the end of it, and the big centre-half just goes powering in. It's a brilliant delivery from Traore. You think Strauss going to get there. Dizazi has other ideas, and the game looked completely over at 2-0. Looked like Leeds were going to Wembley for that semi-final, but West Ham, what? Again, resilience, quality. That is an extraordinary leap to make contact with a cross. You know, that's hard enough to head, let alone turn goalwards with your foot. Extraordinary from Dizazi, incredible from West Ham.
Well, no one is going to forget his first goal for West Ham in a hurry. If that is what it is. Well, indeed it is. Well, they get to celebrate it twice. Well, Daniel Farker is confused and bewildered, as they are, because they believed that they were Wembley bound, and they had good reason to, but now, well, it could all disappear.
When Calvert-Lewin strikes that penalty home to make it 2-0, it just looked so unlikely that West Ham could force their way back into it. Maybe that 11 minutes of added time just gave them that bit of belief they needed. Then you've got to back that up with quality, and they've certainly done that. But what resilience from them, because they look dead and buried. To recover from 2-0 down is something. It looks like they're pushing on, they're trying to win this tie now. It's incredible.
It's Justin's head. Suchek, Bowen. Well, they have momentum, wind in their sails. Let's have it, he says. Well, who knows, they might just. Mateus Fernandes. Traore trying to get a hold of it, Aronson does. Nonto. Kilman. Well, he'll certainly be relieved. Ampadu reading the situation, as tends to be customary, and doing a bit more than that as well. Really composed play from the Leeds United captain.
Certainly not a cup tie we anticipated. I thought it would be incredibly tight. We might just get a single goal. It's been brilliant.
That's too long for Traore, even with his speed across the ground. Jacobio. On for Nonto. He can't get the better of Walker-Peters.
Brilliant defensive position from Walker-Peters. Once the flick is made, the fullback has to get round on the cover. He timed his run to perfection.
Well, minimum of 11 minutes. Who knows? There may be time yet for Leeds to win it. And Nonto's got a free kick.
Opportunity this is for Leeds. The big lads will be up from the back. Bit of quality into the box. They could yet win it. Grujevic, left foot standing over the ball. Just feed that ball in between defensive line and goalkeeper. Don't try and pick somebody out. Play the ball into that space and get your teammates to attack it. Get defenders running back towards their own goal.
Phalanx of claret shirts. Chasers become protectors. Groves delivery. Calvert-Lewin's head. It would have had to be extraordinary to beat Areola. Diouf. Aronson was fouled.
Yeah, just go back to the set piece again. You want Calvert-Lewin on the end of it, but you want the ball out in front of him, so he's moving goals. He's moving away from the target, then looking to head it back towards goal, and even for him, that's an incredibly difficult chance.
West Ham have produced a quite remarkable comeback here to send us to... Calvert-Lewin. Quite a bounce over the head of Pablo. So it's a 30-minute game, I suppose. Oh, Lucas Perry in big trouble. Castellanos has done it. It's one of the great FA Cup comebacks. But unfortunately for Lucas Perry, it's one of the great goalkeeping howlers.
Well, considering the game that he's had, the saves that he's made, this is just unbelievable. It's disastrous. But again, Castellanos being ready to have an opportunity thrust upon him, then be able to tuck it home. Terrible from the goalkeeper, incredible from the centre forward. And the ball is hoisted forward. Castellanos, it's a question mark about whether he's offside. He's leaning into an offside position, so that's questionable. When it bounces, well, Lucas Perry just makes an absolute mess of it. He gives Castellanos the chance, but the striker's got to be ready for it. He was. What a mess from the goalkeeper, and what an incredible finish from a tight angle. But will it stand?
Well, the offside in the build-up is... before it reached Perry is what is being questioned. Stroud with an incredible effort to try and get it out. So we're back to 2-2, and it's straight offside. Now, is it the fact that Lucas Perry is sort of stretching for this and possibly a little out of control, that is why this offside is a factor?
I just wonder why the goalkeeper doesn't catch it. I don't understand what he's trying to do, but as you can see from the pictures here, he is offside. The forward ball is played. He is in an offside position. It's hard on him because he's done incredibly well to score, but Lucas Perry, massive sigh of relief.
Leeds on the search. James Justin! Areola has been magnificent, and he is again on toe.
Well, when the ball breaks the way of James Justin, he has to score. Nothing can keep this out. No wonder Daniel Farger shakes his head. He cannot believe what is happening here. It's such an end-to-end game, chances at both ends. Brilliant from Walker Pieces to keep it out. I think it's a combination of maybe Areola and Souček behind him that managed to keep the ball out. Incredible defensive effort. They thought they'd taken the lead, but they managed to keep it all square with the goalkeeper and the defensive midfielder doing quite brilliantly.
Well, the fact that it's a team game epitomised there, and both ready to put themselves on the line.
course, we have with the players maybe getting a little bit tired going into extra time and it being cagey and neither side wanting to make mistakes. Anything but the opening 4 or 5 minutes have been exhilarating.
Which way is it going to swing? Justin didn't get there. Walker-Peters does! And I'm sure Lucas Perry is grateful to get a good feel of the ball.
It's not the most powerful strike. It maybe takes a touch off the defender as well, takes a bit of the pace off it, but it's savable. For Castellanos, though, he's hit the post, he's had a goal disallowed, he's worked tirelessly. He will have the final say in the tie.
Well, I get knocked down, but I get up again, although he knocked himself down there. Well, 36 attempts on goal. Here's an opportunity, perhaps. Mariola is there. Well, whatever the outcome, I think 15 quid for a Leeds United supporter looks very good value. Pablo. So striding forward. Walker-Peters. Aaron's born out of. Great. They say fortune's always hiding, but it came out of hiding for his goalkeeper, didn't it?
Yeah, I just really don't understand why the keeper just didn't catch that forward ball. It was a really odd decision to try and head it. He talks about a sigh of relief. It might be the biggest one he has in his career for getting away with that.
Great. Powering his way forward. Powering a shot wide.
He does all the hard work, just gets a little bit excited. He's got a good left foot, just drill it back across goal. See him just driving forward. He's always got his head down. He's not looking for Calvert-Lewin. He's frustrated. The cross hasn't come his way, but I can see why he shoots. But if you are going to shoot, at the very least you test the goalkeeper.
Not been prolific in a Leeds United shirt. He scored a very vital goal though in the playoff semi-final against Norwich. That's the only one.
It's not really his game, is it? It's more of a genuine holding midfielder. He does that job usually very well. Good left foot.
Mateus Fernandes, great touch. battling hard. Oh, and Lucas Perry in the way. And Castellanos left frustrated again. Is his luck going to turn today? That's the question. Diouf. Traore. Diouf again.
Fernandez to create this opportunity, just really shoveling that ball towards goal. It's not a clean strike, not a powerful strike. Perry in the right place to not make a glamorous save, but at least keep the ball out.
Well, a few mood changes for Danny today. Sure felt pretty dire at one point.
I did mention earlier, I think in normal time, about the fact you had Traore on the left, Bowen on the right. In the first half, it was the other way around. You can see the benefit of actually why Nuno did that. Traore supplied the crosses, Bowen was involved in the Fernandez goal. So you can see again, switching his wide players has paid dividends.
Strauch's hit, but here's Bowen, who hits it well, and again West Ham in the ball, but Pablo puts it in. Offside flag. Oh. Well, I don't know if I can deal with more drama today. It's pretty clear cut.
Yeah, it's a thunderbolt from Bowen, but you can see the position that Pablo is in, and when the ball comes back to him, he tucks it home, the flag is going to go up. It's another maybe moment for West Ham.
Well, again, what a hit from Bowen. I mean, twice against the post. Socek, Pablo. Struck won it, but only briefly. And now, Jarrod Bowen with little in the way of support. Felt there was a touch from a Leeds United boot.
And he's trying to use James Justin as a shield here to try and match the ball for the goalkeeper, then just curl it in at the far post. He's never going to take Justin on, just looking to whip that ball in. Doesn't keep it on target.
Foul by Pablo.
This is why football is so incredible, isn't it? West Ham 2-0 down going into added time. They get it back to 2-2. So they scored twice and had 2 disallowed goals. You never would have seen that coming. 2-0 down with, OK, 11 minutes to play, but the turnaround and the threat that West Ham have posed has been incredible.
The threat that Joel Piroe poses. Or maybe his calmness when it comes to penalties may yet be a significant factor.
It's the first mention of the P word.
Well, you know,
I think a game as dramatic as this, I won't be surprised if it did go to a penalty shootout.
both have been through that experience before in the competition. Areola fielding it, and not just fielding it, but getting them moving. Walker-Peters. Pablo. Max Kilman. Dizazi. Calvert-Lewin with some good work. Nonto will get a foul for that. Free kick, Justin. Brendan Aronson. Oh, talk about keeping your eyes fixed on the ball. Diouf did that tremendously well. Traoré. Catch me if you can. Terrific run. Here's Diouf! Oh. I think he got a little excited.
Well, he started the move off with a brilliant tackle on the edge of his own box. He's covered virtually the whole pitch to get into an attacking position. Great athleticism, desire to get ahead of Traoré. But when you get into this position, you've really got to show composure. You know, whip that ball across the 6-yard box. If you're going to shoot, make good contact, go back across goal. He just rushes it. Just a little bit excited, but he's done all the hard work. Just messed it up at the end.
Well, it's another lovely contribution from Adama Traoré. Well, I'm not going to criticise anybody here for getting excited. Well, Daniel Farke has been making bold substitutions all day, and the approach looks set to continue. So, 20 attempts apiece.
That's pretty incredible when you consider the struggles these two sides have had in the Premier League. I think their approach today, I hoped it would be like this. 40 attempts is pretty incredible when you consider the struggles these sides have had in the Premier League.
Helped on by Calvert-Lewin. And Walker Peters is in pain, but also the guilty man.
Shows a hand on the shoulder, maybe of Willie Nonto there, as Nonto was looking to break away from him. So Nonto just gets goal side of him. There's a little pull back there. It is a foul because of the positioning and where Nonto was. That's why he's been yellow carded.
Just grabbed his upper arm.
Justin needs to do his play like a Traoré style crossing, just kind of feel that ball and get defenders moving back towards their own goal, but importantly keep it on target in case everybody misses it.
Well, might be the last incident of this first period of extra time. James Justin over the ball.
That free kick was as bad as it could be.
We're definitely going to make a change. Mohamedou Conte is going to come on for Tati Castellanos, so there will be no moment of fortune for the Argentinian. Fate has not smiled upon him. And that's Oliver Scarles as well. Product of the West Ham Academy, born in South London, in Bromley. And Joel Piroux coming on to replace Jayden Bogle. So Willie Nonto at wing back. So we're away, the final 15 minutes of regulation time. What more do they have in store for us? So it is definitely Elhadji Malik Diouf to give him the full title, who is replaced by Scholes, who is very much a full-back by trade. And Joe Peru, who will join Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the Leeds attack. I think bit of skill, but Souček stepping in. Now it's Traore. Walker-Peters.
Key factors in the final stages of the time are the fresh players that have come on. How quickly can they get to the pace of the game? And will tiredness have an effect? Will it be a defensive error that sends the team through?
To be the one that makes the error that is the abiding memory of the day.
That's why I wonder whether both sets of players might be a bit more conservative to close in on penalties, because you don't want to make that mistake. Up to this kind of period of the game, you're quite happy to take chances, get forward, try and win the game. Now you're trying to avoid being the one that loses it for your team.
Peru. Justin. Peru. Aronson. Torres Fernandez. Well, I can understand why he's dealing with a bit of cramp. But for his reactions and real quality touch after that Bowen drive had crashed off the post, West Ham would not be here. The 93rd minute goal, the first of two in added time, would have taken us to extra time.
We say it so often, the third goal in the game, so important. I think it goes 3-0 up, it's game over. Get it back to 2-1, just gives you belief.
Traore gives them belief here as well. Conte raiding. Bornau. Parisian. Signed from Paris FC, who are now a top-tier club. Indeed, they're two top-tier clubs on the same street in Paris. Just like Dundee.
Just about to say that. Very similar.
I've always said that. Conte. Walker-Peters. It's a threatening cross. Pascal start dealing with another one. Back in there by Kilman.
Fernandez is really struggling. He's struggling with cramp. He's stretching every time. There's an opportunity. He's struggling to carry on.
Conte, who's kind of bulldozed his way through. It's a tremendous run. But unfortunately for him, you can't apply that adjective to the end result.
How many times do you see this? A player goes through challenge after challenge, loses his footing, bounces back up, gets into a goal-scoring position. At the key moment, he just takes a wild swipe at the ball. So you need that composure, you need the control the most, but it is hard when you cover so much ground, under so much pressure. You've worked the opening and then you waste it.
Calvert-Lewin. Certainly showing us some admirable determination.
Like a game of footballing twister, that wasn't it?
And now the ecstatic atmosphere which followed that remarkable comeback has been replaced, I think, across the ground by a sense of dread about might unfold. Bowen, Traore mixed with hope. Traore, Beal, chance he had to get right, and he did.
So Beale's defending throughout the game has been absolutely outstanding with boot or head. He's been brilliant.
Quality operator. He used to play in midfield actually a bit at Hanover.
I think that certainly helps with the reading of the game when you, as a midfielder, that is all important. You step back and you can read the game well, you can read attacking intentions, but then timing the challenges, being brave in making challenges.
Pablo trying to drift in behind. He's got the better ball now. But guess who's there? It's Peel and Perrier to get it away. I feared for a moment that the commentator's curse would strike, but for once it didn't.
And the tempo of the game has clearly dropped. Players getting tired, worried about maybe making mistakes. So I think play the percentages, get the ball into the opposition box, and hope it's them that make the error, not you.
Zarte. Here's Scarlett. Traore. Snonto. A good bit of defending. And he'll get it back. See what he can do. Beal pressed into service again. This is Traore.
I just needed to cross the ball sooner. Souček laid the ball out wide, got into the box, hoping for a decent cross, and Traore has put in a number of decent crosses, just took too long there, and the crossing opportunity's gone.
Aronson, possessor of a fresher pair of legs than many. Gruev likewise. He's found that little bit of space to cross, and it's about the first time you've seen Areola uncertain about anything today.
There was a touch of panic there, as that it is a cross. It looked like it might just drift over his head and nestle in the far post. He was worried. Good work from Aronson, he just miscues it, and it is well wide of that far post, but the goalkeeper, I think, was concerned for a moment.
Well, you know what sort of a game it's been when the goalkeeper gets cramped.
I think getting cramp in your hands and your arms for a goalkeeper is acceptable. I'm not sure you should be getting it in your legs. How much ground have you covered?
Well, Finlay Herrick, who is the substitute goalkeeper today, is at least going to get an opportunity to warm up.
Can you imagine if you had to come on for the penalty shootout? Of course, as a youngster, you want to get out there and play for your team, but goodness me, on this occasion, that would be some story if he had to.
He's an FA Youth Cup winner with West Ham, Finlay Herrick.
Aren't we all?
His was somewhat more recent, but fair play.
was just thinking about the penalty shootout. The only notable penalty shootout really that I was involved in was an FA Youth Cup semi-final against Arsenal for Man City, and we managed to win 5-4, and I did score my penalty. But I was just thinking again, professionally, I didn't go through anything like what these players might have to suffer if this game finishes as a draw.
He's been with West Ham since he was 6. Might as well give you the whole tale while we're in this moment. And he's been
we've got some time, seemingly.
And he's been out on loan at Boreham Wood this season, who are amongst the promotion contenders in the National League. He was a late promotion to the bench at Villa in the last Premier League game, with Freddie Potts suddenly ushered into the starting lineup. Well, it would be really sad if Areola can't complete the game, because he's been one of the star performers today.
Yeah, I think Lucas Perry made that aberration that he got away with, but both goalkeepers have performed quite brilliantly. So I think it'd be just if those keepers had the opportunity to be the ultimate hero and make penalty saves to send the team to Wembley.
His day will come. He's a very promising keeper, England under-20 international.
There does come a point where you have to make a decision. You can't just keep doing this for another 10-15 minutes. They have to either, Areola has to get up and get on with it, or you've got to make the change. You need the game finished.
Well, could it be? Oh, this could be some story.
Well, the game itself has been some story, but if, Finlay Herrick comes on and saves, penalties in the shootout, extraordinary. But we'll have to wait and see whether Areola is okay to get up and get on with it. But this is taking more time than I expected.
It's the sudden change in trajectory, or unexpected nature of the trajectory of Aronson's cross, that has certainly not helped Areola.
Yeah, the cross had him worried, and it's an awkward landing. I don't think he's actually pulled a muscle. It looks as if it's cramped the way he's being stretched there. So his calves presumably have just cramped up, but he's clearly struggling.
We did save a last-minute penalty in the Virtue Trophy for the under-21s this season against AFC Wimbledon, against Colchester United, to book a place in the next round against AFC Wimbledon. Also did get through a shootout against Southampton in the FA Youth Cup.
I'll tell you, if Finlay Herrick gets through this and West Ham get to that Wembley semi-final, this could become FA Cup legend. What an extraordinary story it would be.
Well, here we go. His first team debut in an FA Cup quarter-final, with penalties looming large.
Of course, young players will say, I want to play. Well, you've got your opportunity now, Finlay. Show us what you can do.
So we'll have a minimum of 5 minutes more. Finlay Herrick might be one of the few out there wanting penalties. Ampadu. Peru. Fouled by Ampadu. Conte trying to get in behind! And Beale and Perry are not on the best of terms at the moment.
Well, Beale is saying to his goalkeeper, come and collect this, you need to help me out here. Well, he's absolutely right, but again, just making decisions late in a game, you're getting physically, mentally tired. That could have been costly.
Joel Piru. Scholes able to deal with it. Ampadu to clip it, that could be interesting. It's good defending though by Walker-Peters. Ampadu, Justin, Ampadu. Great challenge that by Conte, and one for Traore to chase. Bornau deals with it.
He runs a brilliant defensive line here, Bornau. He knows in a foot race Traore's going to beat him, but he just cuts him off by running a brilliant line. He's always goal-sided, Traore. It's great defending. Well, the break is on. Look at Bornau again, he sprints to get back in a goal-side position. Just makes it impossible for Traore to get past him. It's wonderful defensive appreciation. Gets that wrong. Traore's in. When you consider how dramatic this game has been, Leeds have won it. West Ham came back into it, could have gone either way really in extra time. I think penalties is the only fitting way really to finish the tie off.
And here's Pablo. Guess who's there? Beale.
As soon as Pablo takes a touch, Beale snaps into the challenge. It's in between centre-halves there as well, Pablo. Just can't keep that touch close. It's difficult outside of your boot rather than the instep of your left. That's hard to take that ball down, kill it, and keep it close.
So a change, and Ezra Mayers, teenager, is making his 10th first-team appearance, comes on. Traore is no longer there to torment. Though. Away by Gazazi.
And just a word on Adama Traore, he had an excellent game. His two crosses led to the two West Ham goals,
which help us on the way to penalties.
You know, who you would consider penalty takers in the starting 11s is one thing, but it's very different now with all the substitutions, even a different goalkeeper. So trying to work out who's going to win this is very tough to predict.
fans. He also, well, only about 6 weeks ago, while wearing the colours weeks ago, he made a penalty save against Tamworth. So Leeds will go first. It will be at the West Ham end.
It's wonderful to see Lucas Perry there, just giving Finlay Herrick a little tap on the head. He knows the situation the youngster steps into. Experienced goalkeeper, just appreciating that. And that's wonderful to see. Penalty's been taken down at the West Ham end. Will that have a bearing on how things turn out?
Well, Joel Piroe has taken 2 shootout penalties this season. He will go first, as he did at Birmingham, but he had one saved at Sheffield Wednesday in the League Cup early in the season. Incidentally, Leeds went second against Birmingham and managed to come through it. Piroe against Herrick. And Herrick is a hero! Whatever happens now! Incredible! On his first team debut, a penalty save in a shootout.
I'm sure Finlay Herrick was giving Joel Piroe some verbals here, saying, you're not going to score, you're not going to beat me. It's a poor penalty. But he reads it, the body shape of Piroe, and what a start to the shootout for Herrick.
Bowen, who went first against Brentford. Oh, and he's denied. Well, there's been quite a day for all 3 goalkeepers. And it's Lucas Perry's turn to shine.
I suppose where Bowen's looking to strike this ball is right, but there didn't seem to be a lot of conviction on it, not an awful lot of pace on it. I think again it was savable, it was poor. Again, body language, keepers read that. It kind of showed Perry where he was looking to strike it, and there wasn't enough pace on it.
So, any advantage that West Ham had has disappeared. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has that rare situation of having already taken a penalty in a match, and the internal debate well, different approach, but a successful approach, and Leeds are on the board.
Yeah, the only thing that benefits Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a different goalkeeper. Which, of course, Finlay Herrick would have watched the penalty he took against Areola, but this is... It's down the middle, but he lifts it. It is a bit of a risk going down the middle, and you lift the ball. Could have gone horribly wrong. It didn't.
Well, I remember there was a game when West Ham scored 8 against Newcastle, and the goals went past 3 different goalkeepers on the night. Calvert-Lewin putting penalties past 2 today. Nuno preferring solitude. Walker-Peters seeking equality. And he gets it.
That's a cool penalty under hugely pressurised circumstances. Had to score, really. He does the right thing. He just wraps his instep around it. Plenty of pace. Doesn't change his mind. Look at the pace on that strike compared to Bowen's strike. It was beautifully struck.
That's how to do it. And as it was at Birmingham, the first three are in the same order for Leeds. Brendan Aronson. Scores.
That's another solid penalty. Pick a corner, win that ball, plenty of pace on it. Even if the keeper goes the right way, he's going to have a job keeping it out. Plenty of power, the accuracy. It's a proper penalty.
Eddie Gray appreciating an extra look. Well, Tomasz Souček is the only one of the 5 takers against Brentford who is available to take one of the first 5 today. Castellanos, Wilson and Mavropanos not involved now. Souček hoping to score again. And score again he does.
That is fascinating experience again. Anyone can get it right and expect someone with the amount of football that he's played to get it right. Doesn't panic, takes his time, deep breaths. Once again, just whip that ball with your instep, pick a corner. Very, very hard for the goalkeeper to read it, let alone save it.
The nation came through all this in the international break against the Republic of Ireland. And this Czech proves to be up to the challenge again. What about the Italian? Willy Gnonto. Plenty of sledging from Herrick. He's showing no lack of confidence. Height on it. Just enough to beat Herrick, he says.
He's just trying to indicate how close he was to maybe turning that over the bar. It's a brilliant penalty. Keeper goes the right way. Okay, not that far away, but it still beats him.
I don't think he's struggling with the gravity of the occasion for some reason.
He seems to be revelling in it, doesn't he? As if he was built for this situation.
It's unbelievable, it really is.
I just know how I would have felt. I'm not a goalkeeper by any means, but I know how I would have felt as a young man coming into a situation like this. It would have overawed me.
So Pablo, he's had the ball in the net. Lucas Perry makes his second save in the penalty competition. His third penalty save in this FA Cup campaign.
It's a poor penalty. It's just a lack of conviction, really, as he steps up to strike it. Compare it with the lads that have already scored. I didn't think the belief was there. He is a giant goalkeeper, Perry. He fills the target. I think that's a poor penalty from Pablo.
Tommy Doyle, Jared Bowen, and now Pablo. Players he has denied from the penalty spot. Pascal Struijk, who has been a nominated taker in the past, has the chance to put Leeds United in the FA Cup semi-final. That's it! Leeds are Wembley bound! 39 years since they've been in an FA Cup semi-final.